Hi, everybody. Happy Halloween. Today we're here to talk about stress, black cats, and Halloween. So we're going to do a screen share first and show you my kitty, Nick. This is Nick in his basket, and you all know part of his history. He was found as a kitten in the Tenderloin, and he was thrown out of a window and abandoned. He grew up on pizza crust, and I've had him for about 13 years. He's an indoor-outdoor cat and a very unique individual, and he's had digestive issues for this whole time. So he had an episode recently where he was stuck outside all night, and he somehow fell from a high area. And when he fell, he was jostled back and forth and kept hitting his chin, his head, his neck, the side of his body. And he wound up chipping off part of his canine tooth. So you can imagine how hard he fell and hit himself. And he just started acting really weird. So we're looking at stress in a situation. And I want to show you Nick. Hello. So what do you think he's saying? Think he's saying, hi, I'm happy, everything is fine? This is a complaining cat. He doesn't like me to use the word complaining. This is a cat who has a lot to say. So signs of stress in our animals. I want to know if we are listening. Restlessness or sleeping too much. One sign of stress that I see. Talkative all the time, more than they usually are, or no talking. Reacting outwardly with aggression and striking out, or lack of reaction and hiding and being overcautious. Connection, they want to be next to you, they want to be plastered against you, they want you to touch them, or no touch and they want to isolate. They're either eating up so much that they can't stop eating, or their appetite is down. These are signs of stress in our animals. I'm going to stop the share. And today what I'd like to talk about is I'd like to talk about 3 herbs. Alfalfa, oats, and skullcap. Alfalfa and oats are tonics. Skullcap is a sedative nervine. And I've used them in my animals. I've used the first 2 with Nick, who needs building up. And I've used another one with an animal who we'll see later, Jasmine, to calm down. So alfalfa medico sativa is from the clover family, and it is a sweet and a bitter, both tastes, which means that it has opposite effects. It can be stimulating or it can be regulating. It's used to calm the heart and the mind and the stomach, and it's also used to nourish the stomach and to move. So it has 2 opposite effects at the same time, which is why it's so helpful in horses that have bouts of colic that need some alfalfa to coat their stomach to get rid of the extra acid. So alfalfa deacetizes, it actually alkalinizes, which is one of its basic features. It helps to decrease nervousness and irritability by nourishing the nerves and clearing things and moving things along. The actual keynote that I see of alfalfa is the animals are busy. They always want to walk around. They're here, they're there, they're restless, they can't sit still. And it's as though they have a watch on and they don't have time to do everything. They're always worrying about the next thing and what's going to happen. And it's anticipatory. I don't know how people deal with long hair. It's quite annoying to me. And they have poor appetites, or they don't know when to stop eating. They may have bad breath. They may have extra plaque built up because of the acid saliva. And again, it's this alkalinizing nature that I feel helps to sedate or to tonify and nourish both the nervous system and the digestion. The dosage I like to use is mostly in a tea. And for the cats, it's about a teaspoon For the large dogs, it can be up to 2 tablespoons. And it's used before eating or right after eating, or sometimes within the food, but right around the meal times. And it helps to smooth the digestion and keep things going. And it helps to decrease restlessness and irritation. In addition to this herb and the oats and the skullcap that we'll talk about, you want to figure out if your animal wants to be touched and the intensity of the touch. If they have too much in one area, they want to be touched lightly or energetically. If things are stuck and it's deeper, they want more of the constant contact. Okay, oats, Avena sativa. And oats is a grass, and because it's a grass, it's high in silicon. Because it is high in silicon, it means that it nourishes connective tissue. So it nourishes the connective tissue in our body. Sometimes it's used for fibromyalgia in humans, and that would be more of the oat straw. The Avena sativa or oat milk from the oat seed is used to calm the nervous system, and it's a tonic for the nervous system. It moistens and it cools. So it's used also for headaches, headaches in the occipital region, the back of the head, and those headaches that actually go down the spine. This was exceptionally good for Nick, who had irritation going down the side of his neck, down the spine from being hit here and getting his jaw out of alignment. The dosage is small. The dosage is like 2 to 5 drops in probably an ounce to 2 ounces of water, and using a dilution of that, using droppers full of that dilution of 2 to 5 or 7 drops. And I wanted to show you a product that I use with Nick, which is Senior Support Compound by Animal Essentials. And this has, it's a glyceride, and it has in it oats and alfalfa, as well as dandelion and milk thistle and ginkgo biloba for the kidney. And it's because it's in a glyceride, the animals like the taste. It tastes kind of licoricey and sweet, so they don't mind it. The last herb that I'd like to talk about, and I'd like to share screen on here. Will we go back? And I wanted to show you a picture of Nick after getting the massage down his sides that he would tolerate and the senior support. So you see he looks very relaxed. I wanted to move on to skullcap, and this is Jasmine. And Jasmine is an older Weimaraner who's a descendant of Cheer Barber, who's one of the stars of the photographs of my book, Four Paws, Five Directions. Belongs to Jim and Robin Barber, as much as an animal can belong to you. They pay the bills. And Jasmine is an older female spayed Weimaraner who lived in a household with another older dog for a long time, whom she bossed around and knew how to deal with. And he also protected her. This dog unfortunately passed away. And after a little bit, Jasmine didn't like being alone. So the Barbers got a new puppy. This puppy is Parker, and he is big and boisterous and in your face and jumping up and very exuberant. However, he's overwhelming and annoying to Jasmine. So she started to introvert, move back, not wanting to do anything, not really wanting to move. Was very stiff, and she started developing more of the lipomas that she already had. And you see the one that's beneath her abdomen there. That's actually a lipoma around the mammary gland, and she has 2 of them that are like balloons. And I think I mentioned her in the last episode. Anyway, Jasmine did not want me to touch her, and she was terrified of anything going on. She was in an area where she kept introverting and not moving. So we used an herb combination that included Scutellaria or skullcap. And the Western skullcap is related to the Chinese skullcap. And skullcap is part of the herb combination called Tien Ma Gu Tang Yin. Too long to go through in this area, but we'll talk about it at another time. And between the herb combination and having Jim and Robin massage down her spine, down the sides of her spine, down the back of her spine, leaving the bottom alone, and acknowledging how she was in a new situation and that they would keep the other dog away as much as possible and give Jasmine specific time on her own. Jasmine, this is 2 weeks later, and not only are her lumps starting to go down and change a little bit, but she's kicking Parker away from her food and she's being openly receptive to everything. Her musculature seems more clear. So we're going to go back, stop the share. Thank you, Jasmine. And we're going to talk a moment about scutellaria. Scutellaria or skullcap is unnerving, and it's unnerving, and it's related, as I said, to the Chinese skullcap or scutellaria, and it's in the mint family. And it soothes as well as quiets. It is also good for headaches. And this particular herb skullcap is good if there's issues with intensity of light or intensity of sound. Skullcap helps to smooth that out. Skullcap is safe for children. And Michael Moore, the great herbalist, felt that skullcap was one of the best nervous system quieters and safe herbs that he had used. And he put it in almost every formula for nervous anxiety. So I hope that you'll have less stress today, that you'll enjoy your long hair if you like it, and that your cats and dogs and whoever else you go out with on Halloween will appreciate Healthy Tips for Tails. See you next time, guys.